So first of all, huge day for me, personally. One of the biggest I've had in probably 8 months in terms of training. Very, very exciting to see the payoff of dense strength, the nutrition protocols, and just sticking with it, the consistency. It's got to be my greatest training streak in my entire life, like 8 months of being so focused. I was previously personal trainer, strength conditioning coach, health coach, and I myself wouldn't train every single day. I would do 4 to 5 times a week, and then some weeks I wouldn't get after it real hard. Other weeks I would. And dense strength has taught me so much about consistency in doing the pulling the levers that work instead of just doing kind of bits and pieces here and there to try and stay healthy. So when you actually focus yourself on a goal and you actually commit yourself to that goal and have a plan to get there, all you have to do is not fucking quit. It's like so simple. But I was speaking to a few boys today about it in the gym. And so often we get this like shiny carrot syndrome, this golden carrot dangling in front of us. And it's like, oh, you got a little bit improvement here. Now let's divert attention here. Now let's divert, it's like we're as men, we're so easily distracted. And so if we can just set some really strong goals for the next 12 months and just stick with them, just fucking stick with them until you get there. And I feel like, I don't know if you guys are the same. I feel like in the past, I've got 80% there and then I've pulled back or I've diverted and gone, oh, I'm nearly there. I may as well do something else now, and that 80% is still great. Like the things I have achieved are still great, but I'm not going 110% until the cat's in the bag. I've padlocked it and gone, bang, I unlocked that level. Now it's time to progress. I've always played this like 1.5 foot in the door, 1 foot hanging back, half a foot hanging back. I don't know. Do you guys resonate with that at all? Yeah, it's pretty common. And the boys I was speaking to in the gym today, they're and it I think it happens at all levels, right? Like Tristan I was talking to, he's doing ultra marathons, and so his goal is to run 100K ultra. And he's like, bro, I've done a 50 and an 80, and I kind of went, oh, is it worth doing the 100? And he's like, I did a 50 and 80K run, solid runs, but there's that part of him that's like, oh, you're doing all right. So it's like, put it down on paper and don't stop until you've actually hit the thing that you put on paper. And then when you hit that thing on the paper, reset your mind straight away. Reset your mind straight away with what is the next goal. So I know from the past that if I've hit goals, then it kind of feels like a good time to just taper off a little bit, have a bit of a rest. Now I'm realizing, because I'm not so cooked either from this training style, I hit these goals today with ease, and I'm able to go, right, what's the next level? Readjust the dense to different exercises, and I'm going to level up with the one arm chin. I'm going to level up with the 90-degree handstand. I'm going to level up with the pistol. So it's like I get to level up without having a layoff period and not being able to, and not having to recook myself all the time, always in a fatigue or recovery state. And so what's super cool is that if you apply this long term, ultimately you're not going to get injured because we're training in a sub-maximal effort. Okay, so injuries usually happen when you're lifting at your max effort a lot of the time or too much, and your nervous system cracks. So by training volume, you're actually building the engine, you're building the capacity, the tissue, the threshold. And then by increasing that threshold, that capacity, you naturally have a greater output of your max effort. So I haven't tested those max efforts since June last year. So it's been 8 months, and I literally lined up. I didn't even do proper testing. I didn't have any rest periods between them. I did all dense strength. So I did every minute I added weight. So I was getting about 50 seconds rest, completely against sports science, completely against strength and conditioning principles. and I still maxed out way higher than my previous PBs just because I've been doing so much volume. Like, honestly, 60 kilo dip felt so easy today. I don't know if you guys watched the videos, but my previous dip was a 45 kilo dip, and I knocked 60 kilos out of the park. Like, I could have gone more, but I didn't go more just because I was really happy with the speed. I failed the 60 kilo chin up, but I did get a 55, which is a big growth as well from 47.5. So what it showed me was it's given me such a deeper level of faith in this system. Because if we're optimizing your testosterone and your hormones and reducing your inflammation through the dietary protocols, and you're sticking strong to your values, so you're actually making decisions each day which work you toward your goal, not pull you behind, and you turn up and do the training, you will not fail. Like, you'll only fail if you quit. You only fail if you get bored. You only fail if you get shiny carrot syndrome and go, oh, maybe I'll do another goal. Like, I guarantee you, if you put your faith in me, I will literally get you to your goals. And I've proven that to myself, which is so nice to be a product of the product. You know, there's so many guys out there, so many coaches, so many influencers and stuff out there. They're just giving you the cookie cutter programs. They're giving you methods and philosophies, but they don't do it themselves. You know, you can buy these, $10, $30, $50, $200 programs out there, and they just sell them to mass amounts of people, but they're not considering, like, be a product of your product, walk the walk, hit your goals as well. Like, it's inspired me a lot to just continue hitting goals this year, because I've already knocked 2 of my goals off for the year that I wanted to achieve. I didn't think I'd get the 10D10 this, like, so early in the year. I really didn't. But coming into February, something clicked in my head and I went, you've got this month. You're going to get it. And I knew I was doing 10D8s. I could do 10D8 fairly well. And so I'm like, I'm going to push it and see if I can get 10D10 here. And I cracked them both. So I wanted to start with you guys just quickly. Just put in the chat what has been the biggest win from the system. So, like, is it simplicity? Is it discipline? Is it actually being able to see the results? Is it ease of understanding? Like, what is the biggest win of it? And then also, what's something that's been a challenge? So just chuck that in the chat so I can get a bit of a whereabouts. In the Zoom chat. How simple the training is. Yep, 30 minutes a day. Yeah, I literally, well, I can believe it now. And I believed it watching Nico train, but after doing it myself and really valuing simplicity and time efficiency, now it's just been so good. It's really shown me how too complex trainings become. Best thing and most challenging thing has been the simplicity. I love it. Is that because of boredom, Tom?
I think a little bit, and a little bit what you were just talking about with the sort of distraction, that kind of feeling of, yeah, this is going all right, let's do something else. And some of it's been forced because I do sessions with clients sometimes, and that sort of mixes things up a bit. But yeah, no, it's definitely, because if you can feel the power of it when you stick to just the 3 and keep it really simple. But yeah, I do find my mind's just like, yeah, but what about this? I'm missing out on this, and I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing enough of that. And yeah, it's just listening. It's just ignoring some of the voices in the head.
Yeah, I'm so like you, man. Like, I feel that in my brain. Like, my brain goes like, what are you doing the same session for again? It's been weeks. Like, I feel like, oh, I need to do something cool and creative. And it's like, the way I'm thinking about it is I can leave a little bit of play in my training, like, 5-10 minutes of play to do some stuff. But the base, Nico got in my ear last June, because I was talking to him a lot about it. And he said, you guys see me doing weighted one arm chin ups, like deficit handstand push up, like 10 deficit handstand push ups in a row. You see me doing all these crazy things on Instagram. You don't realize that I did 18 months of the same program, dips, pull ups, and pistols for 18 months. And he's like, I built that capacity so high so that volume in my nervous system, that volume in my muscle tissue knew that output. Now I can just apply that transfer to basically everything, because you've got to pull strength, you've got to push strength, and you've got lower body mobility and strength. And he's still strong as in deadlifts. Like people say pistols won't help you posterior chain. It's like he's like, go and get to a point where you can do a heap of pistols and a heap of weighted pistols, and you'll have a strong posterior chain, because it's end range glute contraction, like it's stretched right out. You know, you're getting hip extension at the top. Obviously, it's not direct to the deadlift motion, but there's transfer. And so he got in my ear and he said, just do it, bro. Just do it until you hit 10D10. And then when you hit 10D10, if your life's not better, I'll apologize to you. You know, and like yesterday, I got to 10D10 and I'm like, fuck, my body is literally in the best shape, in the best strength. I've got the most energy I've ever had. I'm training the least amount of time I've ever trained in my life. And I feel fresh all of the time. Apart from sleepless nights with Indy, or, you know, some overwork or whatever that's kind of dragged, but not from training. I'm not like, oh, I need days to rest and recover. So I think it's truly a hack, especially for us dads. If we got lots of priorities, lots of responsibilities, if we know that even just a 15 to 30-minute session can get us chipping away at the old stone and carving what we want in the next 12 months, it's a really beneficial thing to consider. So Dion, consistency, weight loss. Yeah. So massive effect on the weight loss. I'm going to have a chat about that quickly when I go through the triangle model. Jeremy, results, weight loss, muscle, and strength increase. Yeah. How nice is it seeing the exercises actually improve? Like you can feel it, you can see it, you know it's happening. Simon, I feel like telling mates and even strangers who doesn't have 30 minutes. That's right. Challenge, mind games around old habits. Yep. How can you see the difference in my energy? Is that meant to say how can you not see the difference in your energy, Nick? Or yeah, you're literally a completely different man. Cool. All right. It's good to know. So yeah, some of the challenges there will be around the simplicity. However, as the strength increases, we can start really in playing with that base. It's like if we want the peak to be this high, you know, actually that's a horrible thing with your hands because it doesn't quite work. But the higher you want the peak, if you want it to be a strong pyramid, you've got to have it longer widthways. So you get a bigger base. So we're building the base so that we can apply that base to all different things. So let me just pull these slides up. All right, you guys can see that. All righty. So first of all, let's just have a little look at these because some of you guys haven't seen them. So this is a 10D10.
Come on.
100 reps in the 10 minutes. And then 100 dips as well. That was a 55 kg chin.
Can you guys see what Jordan's showing?
Oh, hold on. I haven't shared screen.
We can't see it, mate. Sorry.
No. Thanks for saying, because I haven't shared screen. Hold on. Let me just get back to Zoom. All right, now you can see it, yeah? All right. So this is the 10D10 yesterday. So 10 reps each minute, 10 minutes. I only cracked in the last set. I had to break it up to a 2 and a 1 in the last like 20 seconds. But ultimately I got my 100 reps in the 10 minutes. And then with the dips, I knuckled all of them out without a break. It just feels so good to have that capacity. There's the last rep there. It's nice and strong. We got chin up. So today was 55 kg chin up. Was the top set.
Come on.
And then the dip, 60 kilos. Oh. Happy with the depth as well. I got elbows, I got right under the elbows there. So I'm getting nice and deep in the shoulder girdle, getting them back up. So very happy with that. And then checked in for my videos with the one arm chin. This is pretty funny. I'm like very far off, but I'm excited to see comparison when I can actually get it. Super humbling. The 90-90 push up. So this will be come all the way down. And then you hang your feet off the floor. Don't touch the floor. And then you come all the way back up into a handstand. So that's the next goal with the handstand push up. And then obviously with this dense, I've actually been able to knuckle handstand push-ups like they're a piece of piss. So it's super cool because when you actually see results like that, and I haven't tested for 8 months. So it's been 8 months since I've tested any of those stuff really in like a high intensity environment. I've just been focusing on the dense volume. And now I'm in a position where, okay, I've got such a big base. Now I can really start playing with some other stuff. And so this is what I want for you guys. I mean, obviously it depends if you want it as well, but I think as men, we're too easily distracted and we too easily want variance, and there's not enough transfer to other areas in life. Like the basics really build beasts. Like if you can focus on the basics and be so diligent with the basics, you will build such a large engine in your body, and you'll learn so much more about your own mindset as well, being committed to something and seeing it out. So I wanted to quickly run through why, again, I think this system is providing so much return when you commit to it. So first of all, there's the values, identity, and the choices. So when we get clear on those values, I'm sure you've all experienced, like you have a new decision operating system that you can make decisions from. So instead of being pulled so easily left and right and in a million directions, you can actually say no easier. You can be more clear on what you need to focus on. You can be more clear on your parameters for the day and your decisions for the day and the focus for the day. And that is going to affect how you turn up in your identity and the choices you make. Then with your personal roadmap, by setting targets of like, okay, what is my next target? And I'm just working to it and having some milestones to tick off on the way, you're going to get so clear on like, okay, am I progressing? Am I, still hitting the sessions? Am I turning up doing the eating? Am I doing fasting? And am I applying the things I need to do to drive this vehicle to the destination that I want? And as long as you keep checked in with those actions, ultimately you're going to get to the goals, right? So then with the gut health and nutrition, I really think the cleanse, doing a yearly cleanse with more and more evidence coming out around bacteria, fungal, like all the overgrowth that can happen in the gut microbiome, and then also with parasites and bugs and all these basically invasive little motherfuckers who get inside and leach from our organs and affect the way our gut functions. This stuff's in like our modern water. This stuff's in like it can be in supermarket fruit. It can be in restaurant food. Like it's so common these days in our modern world for people to have a parasite or a fungal overgrowth that it's just affecting things like their hormones, their sleep, their skin, irritability, moods, nutrient absorption, gut digestion, like constipation, diarrhea kind of things, bleeding, all of this stuff. It's so much directly linked to the gut There are some variants in cases, but a lot of the time we're seeing there's a dysbiosis in the gut microbiome, which is not allowing your body to actually function the way you want it to do the things that you want. So this is why, you know, people can go on these calorie in, calorie out diets and just focus on their calories, but their hormones tank, and, you know, their health tanks, or they'll get an autoimmune disease, or they'll get some form of fatigue. It's really crucial that you don't only focus on calories, but you focus on quality of food. And then you also focus on making sure your gut's actually performing the way it's supposed to. So you're not fighting any or battling any nasties. Then with the nutrient dense food, so just like so simple, just eat more steak and eggs, have some fruit where you need to. And if you want to have some veggies out every now and then, have some, but just don't load up on them. Like the whole fiber thing and eating, you know, more veggies than meat, it really doesn't do well for a lot of people. You know, some people do okay on a vegan diet. Some people really are suited to it, but not many humans. If we're talking like mass populations, there's not a lot of tribes who have, well, actually there's not one tribe that's evident in history to last any decent amount of time on a vegan diet. So important to get a lot of that protein in. Make sure you're maximizing your protein. And even with the system that I've been playing with, so I've been playing with a testosterone boosting fasting regime, which is where I'm doing 2 days of fasting at the start of the week. So Monday, Tuesday, I fast for 48 hours. What that does is it puts you in a stress response in the body, actually drops your testosterone for those 2 days. Then when you refeed, you have a high protein day. So I literally on my refeed, like I had oysters asavo, I had chicken, I had some lamb, and I had some eggs. So I've gone a high protein refeed, and then you keep refeeding for the next 5 days on high protein, and it actually shows massive increases in your testosterone. So I'll drop a video link that I've referenced for this and that I've been applying it, but I've been applying this for like the last 6-7 weeks, and I'm feeling a massive difference. So very, very cool stuff to apply if you want to maximize your gains in muscle mass, energy, fat loss, just your essence as a man, like the testosterone, that grounded masculine feeling in your training, in your decisions, all that stuff. It helps so much. And then with the dense strength, yeah.
Sorry, mate. Can I just ask you a question about when you fast, are you doing broth at night, or are you just doing water, like filtered water, and nothing at night?
Ultimately, nothing at night. So the closer to a water fast we can get, the better. So I still do black coffee. I'm still doing a black coffee in the morning, and then I do filtered water and sparkling water throughout the day for 2 days.
So how damaging, if I did that, or if any of the boys wanted to do that, how damaging would doing exactly what you're doing, but doing white coffee?
White coffee with milk in it, you'll get zero of the benefits of fasting, apart from a calorie deficit. So all you're doing there is a calorie deficit fast, really. You're just reducing calories, but having glucose, so having sugar from the milk and having the proteins in the milk, will actually kick you out of ketosis. It'll actually kick you out of autophagy. So you're not getting the benefits of what fasting is designed to do. If it's purely to do with reducing your caloric intake, having a milk coffee a day is definitely going to keep you in a calorie deficit. However, I don't really see the point of fasting if you're not going to get the health benefits out of it. If you're literally just getting the body composition, you're better off just committing to 2 days without that white coffee and getting the cellular repair, the organ health, the regeneration of mast cells and of your myelin sheath and of all the mitochondrial functions that happen in the cell. Basically, the little engines in each cell, when we fast, get repaired. It's like taking your body to the mechanic, and it gets cleaned up, buffed up, fixed up, sent back to you, working like a mean lean machine. Whereas if you're going to have things that disturb that autophagy and that ketosis, you're not getting those effects. So if you're going to commit to that, I would highly recommend that you just commit to those 2 days being your black coffee.
And you're starting your fast. Your last meal is Sunday night, and then you eat again on Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I'm finding we eat dinner about 4 o'clock just because, I don't work away from home and we can have an early dinner with Indy and then gets to bed early. So I go like Sunday Arvo 4 and then I eat again Tuesday Arvo at 4. Yeah. But if you can go that 48 hours and, yeah, it's been really incredible. I'm going to drop the link in the video so you guys can watch it. The video link in the chat, but it's really cool to look at some of the science behind this and the spikes in testosterone. When you stress the body out, the body goes a little bit catabolic because it goes into a fixing mode, a repair mode. It's not in an anabolic state where it's looking to grow and looking to nourish. It's actually going into survival. And so to go into survival, it's working on the main parts of your body, which are your organs, and the mitochondria, which is the engine in each cell. And so when you do this, you're killing off cancer cells, you're killing off all of this growth and basically anything that's not wanted in the body by doing these fasts. And then we go straight into a high protein absorption, and it drives testosterone through the roof. So they've got these studies in rats and in animals, and you see these massive spike ups on the refeed days. So your testosterone is going to drop, and then once you refeed, it's going to spike higher than its baseline. And so if you do this repeatedly, you're actually bringing your testosterone much higher. So it's very, very cool. Things I'm experimenting with. I'm always experimenting with. I'm passionate about finding the answers around true health. I think there's a lot of bullshit out there, and I think there's a lot of complexity as well. Like if we can just get ourselves back to basics and get ourselves back to simplicity, we can really do a lot of get a lot more out of our health. And I'm talking longevity, vitality, energy, hormonal health, obviously the reduction in chance of disease and illness, especially in autoimmune and chronic lifestyle diseases. We want to be looking after that gut as much as we can, and we want to be looking after our mitochondrial health. And that's where fasting comes in so beneficial. So cool.
Jordan, I've got a quick question before we move on from that, if that's all right. After our call, I did the 48 hours, but is that the same from Simon's question? I did keep salt and lemon water in through those 2 days. Is the lemon going to be the same issue in terms of stopping that, or is that going to be?
Look, the lemon, not as much, because it's more acidic than it is alcohol. Like it's not as much sugar in a lemon and a lime versus like an actual another fruit. I would keep it to a minimum though. And if you want to do it instead, do a ferment. So you could put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in your water instead of lemon, because then it's actually fermented. Yeah. And that's going to give you positive bacteria in the gut instead of the lemon on the other days, or just do salt water during your fast.
Okay.
Don't do any fruit. But if you're looking to repopulate your gut, I would either implement some bone broth or some apple cider vinegar.
Okay, so the broth's okay to keep in.
It's
on a small amount.
This is where it's case dependent. If you're having troubles with your gut health, if you're having troubles with nutrient absorption, if you're having digestive issues, if you're having any kind of bleeding, like chronic constipation, chronic diarrhea, any of those responses of IBS, I'd look to do some gut protocols to actually enhance the gut lining. Yeah. But if you're not having any gut issues, I would stick to just water. And black coffee.
I kept a black coffee in as well, but 1 in the morning. The other question was just in the evening. So when you break your fast, obviously I know when we've done it before, you suggest breaking quite gently. So go quite light with your first meal or two coming back to reintroduce things. How do you manage that? Because obviously if you're breaking your fast in your evening meal, do you go light or do you not bother with that? Do you just go heavy with the protein and keep it clean?
No, I go heavy with the protein, but I do like an on-ramp. So I start with 6 oysters is usually my go-to. I'll go, 3 to 6 oysters, depending. And then I'll have a little bit of white fish. So I love white fish, and it's a very easy matter to digest for the gut lining. And then I'll go into a red meat after that. So I kind of on-ramp it. I find when I have steak or lamb or something straight away, my gut's kind of like, whoa, all right, okay, we're back to the big dog, like
Yeah.
there's a lot more to digest.
Is that all in the same evening? Or is that like
so
your first?
the oysters will be about 4 o'clock, and then
Yeah.
the white flesh will be just after that, maybe 10, 20 minutes. And then I have the meal like an hour later.
Okay, fine, gotcha. Perfect. Thank you.
So it's just like a little snack. Just have like a little light snack before I go into the main meal. And I've found for me personally, it helps me digest without, because I used to like fast when I first started fasting years ago. I'd fast and I'd feel like an absolute machine because I fasted, and then I'd eat like a whole plate of food and I'd get the runs straight away. So my gut was just like, nah, we can't handle it right now. We've been on a break. You're just slamming us. Boom, hit the ejection. So yeah, you can play around with it. Like there's variance, but if you think about the logic behind it, you haven't digested any food for 2 days. If you just bring intensity in and just like, smash this, it's going to get a little bit of a halt behind it. So if you can kind of like get your way into it and then give it a bit of a warm up and then feed it some more protein.
And can you, Jordan, with that, just on following on from Tom's query, can you include eggs in that initial intake?
Yeah, 100%. If you don't have a response to eggs are great. And what I mean by response to eggs, if you get irritated after, like if your mood changes, there's a lot of people with their mood changes after having eggs. There's just a response to it. Any digestive issues, any itchy skin, if the eyes get a little bit foggy, if there's anything that you feel a bit off about after eating eggs, you're probably best to just have the yolk, not the white, and see if you have the same reaction. And then if you don't have the same reaction, then it's more so going to be in the protein in the white than the fat that's in the yolk, which is a very common thing with the egg allergy. However, if there's no reactions, if there's no negative response, smash eggs. Crucify a dozen eggs at a time. Do the Vince Girondo, he's 36 eggs a day. All right. So any other questions around that section? You guys all killing it with food, feeling good? Yep. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Beautiful. Now, lastly, we don't need to speak about this too much more because we already spoke about dense strength, but it is that daily deposit. Who's noticed that having that in their mind, that it's just a thing that they do, it's a part of them just to turn up each day, has helped the discipline muscle develop? Like, do you think you'd be as disciplined if it was a bit more sporadic, the training sessions? Or have you found there's a little bit more self-trust and self-confidence when you turn up for yourself more? I know for me personally, that's been a big game changer for me, is just like, it's just who I am. I just do dense every day. And people will think
even having that goddamn piece of paper, man, it does the trick.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really frothing on that. That's a nice, it's so interesting, fellas, because like delivering this stuff, I've been thinking about that for months. And in your head, you're like, oh, it's just a piece of paper. And then, you see everyone just rip in and you're like, all right, it's a piece of paper. Let's fucking go.
I think for me, what's helped me, I've printed out a couple of copies of it. So it's really strategic for me. I know what my weaknesses are. So I make sure that I've got a copy of it in my gym underneath the house where I train, stuck there, which just keeps me on track. So if I'm walking past where I train and I haven't trained, it's a reminder. And also on my mirror in my ensuite. So when I wake up and have a leak or something, it's there. It's just I need to be strategic, and I might even put one in the kitchen. So that's just just for me. I just need a reminder. But I'm looking forward to the stage, Jordan. I think you said it last week or the week before, where you want it so much that if you don't train for a day, you miss it. You just. I think it's helped me enormously having the reminders where I've put them on purpose so that it gets me to just do it.
And it's that subconscious rewiring. It's not that you're actually telling yourself you need to do it. It's you seeing it, and then the language that goes on in your head. It's not necessarily a verbal thing that you share with yourself. It's a subconscious trigger. It's like you're flicking the switch every time you see it. And this is why these things are so great. You can really biohack your environment. You can have it on your phone screen. You can have it, write it on your dashboard, like put a little stick-it note on your dashboard, things that you want to focus on, like whatever it is, where do you look often, and put reminders for yourself to be that man until it's so deeply ingrained in you that you can change the message, or you can change the focus point. It's not hard for you to know that you have to go to the toilet every day, because you were trained as a kid to go to the toilet every day, and so it's like that's a part of you. You never have to focus, hopefully, you never have to focus on the fact that you should go to the toilet every day. So if we can just get other behaviors into your life as a man that become so a part of you that it's just like, this is my normal, then you can stack on those behaviors and stack those improvements so that your daily actions actually create a different outcome. So yeah, very, very strategic there, Simon. It's awesome. Now, last point with the dense strength is the basics builds the beast. And the reason Nico, so all of this stuff I've learned from Nico. I haven't come up with this, just like pulled it out of my ass and just, cool, this is work. This is looking and learning from Nico, who's incredible athlete and has just used literally dense strength and these basics to build some of the most freakish capacity in these, body weight strength, calisthenics, even repeat effort, cardio efforts, ridiculous amounts of volume. And he's a man, it made sense to me. A lot of guys focus on bench, but a bench press is never going to get your shoulders mobile. Not like a dip where you have to pull. So you get so deep into a dip, you're actually opening up your tissue and you're strengthening it. Okay, so we want that range training where we're getting that long range pec train. Okay, and then we're getting the lockout on the inner range, which is really good as well. So the dip is so great for shoulder mobility, and it transfers to bench, it transfers to handstands, it transfers to so many different elements. Pressing, you can basically take a strong dip and implement it in other exercises. This is also from Charles Poliquin. Charles Poliquin was big on this because he would get sprinters to do dips. He wouldn't get them to, do many other exercises, but he would do dips and he'd do seated good morning. So that the glutes were in the same position or same style. So he had a very high acceleration point, high output point in the joint, and he focused on dips as a transfer exercise for other things. So his philosophy was your dip and your external rotation should be a higher level ratio to your bench than any other pressing movement. So if you improve your dip and you improve your external rotation, you'll always have healthy, strong shoulders. So the dip was one of the basics. For that reason is you're getting mobility and you're getting strength out of it. And it's also hitting the chest, shoulders, and back as well. And then when you do the pull up, you're actually pulling into the posterior chain versus a chin up where you're pulling into the anterior side of the body. So you can get a lot more dominance and focus on the front capsule of the shoulder. You're still pulling through the back, but you can be in a worse position when it comes to technique. Whereas when you do a pull up, you're always getting those shoulders back, and you're going to be defining the rear delts and the way the shoulder actually functions with the scapula. So that combined with the dip is a very good upper body combination with the basics that are going to build your capacity as a beast to be able to turn up and do other exercises. All right, you'll be able to pick things up really quickly when you've got a strong dip and you've got a strong pull. So it's the same with the ring rows. and the push-ups if you're doing them with shoulders back, which all you guys are. Then into the pistol. So we're looking at full range squats, first of all, heels elevated, to making sure we're getting full knee range. If anyone can't do the full knee range, then we're applying the ATG protocols to get their knees back. But all of you guys have been able to squat. So we want to get full depth on that. And then once we've got the capacity in the legs to do lots of volume and a heel elevated squat, then we start working on pistol squat progressions. I don't know has anyone been keeping an eye on Adam? Watching his pistols. So he at the start, he's like, man, I'm not going to be able to do a pistol. I'm just not going to be able to do it. He's like, my knees will blow out, rah, rah, rah. And I said, I understand the fear in it and also the higher risk of injury as you're older. However, let's just get into full range squats. Let's get some blood pumping. Let's get some, volume into the legs. And then we started working on some step progressions where he's doing a pistol to a bench. And now he's like getting a full range pistol almost. I think he got 2 the other day and he was like, he couldn't believe it. He's like, holy shit, my legs can handle it. And so for longevity exercises, if you can not only squatting's been proven to be the best movement for longevity. If we look at reducing falls in your elderly ages and also the capacity to still be able to run. If you can do a full depth squat, there's a correlation with still being able to run in your elderly years. So these are things when we look at lifespan and we correlate the data with certain exercises, you can actually look into this stuff and look at what is seen to be the pinnacle bodyweight movements that we want to see in the elderly population when we're talking about quality of life. And so the squat, I believe, is a necessary one if we're getting a full depth squat in the knees. Obviously, we take the ankles out with the heels elevated, but ultimately you're never really going to take your ankles through full range of motion a lot in life, in general living, but you definitely want to be able to use your knees. And so, we want to get full range of motion in the knees, and then to progress that from a normal squat to a pistol, then brings up the strength to body weight ratio so high because you're able to do your body weight or more on one single leg. So this is why it's a really cool method, is because with this system and with these deposits happening each day with these basics, you're building as a man and as a dad. It is so important to keep active, right? If you're not active, you'll miss times with your kids. You'll miss activities that you want to do that you can't do. You'll doubt yourself. You'll be disappointed in yourself when you can't do certain things. You'll get frustrated and angry because you've let yourself go. So if we can avoid that, if we can put things in place where you're actually aging with capacity, aging with improved ability, how good's that? You can be that guy doing pull-ups when you're 70. You can you can do like my uncle. My uncle, he can do handstand push-ups and he's like 66 and he still snowboards. He goes to Japan every year for a snowboard trip, goes to New Zealand for a downhill mountain bike trick. He's nearly 70 and he's still fucking smacking it. And he's just like, mate, you just can't stop. You can't stop. And so the way I think about that is like, all right, let's have a system that really encourages that from wherever we are in the world with little amounts of time invested, and while we have the capacity and the ability to actually set bigger goals for our training and chase some really cool stuff. So I want you guys to go away. If I can get you to do anything, go away from this call thinking about what do I want my future to look like? If you're not banging out, if you can't do 10 pull-ups, that should be a goal. If 10's too far away, your goal should be 5 pull-ups or 3 pull-ups. Really put it in front of your face every day and go, I'm going to take myself to this. At no matter what age, I'm going to get myself back to doing pull-ups. I'm going to get myself back to doing, I'm going to get myself to doing a pistol, because there's these guys out there. And it's just that I feel like we get so distracted with the flashy shit and the vast amount of things that we can do. Like I was down the Noosa Surf Club today, went for a swim, And there's an old guy just there on the beach, just, I reckon he hit about 60 or 70 push-ups. And we went up to him and I said, mate, what's your secret? And he's like, mate, I just do this every single day. I think I've done it for the last 50 or 60 years. And he's like, ever since I was a kid, I remember in high school, we had to do as many push-ups as we could whenever the HPE teacher came past us. He'd always challenge us. And he's like, I've just kept that a part of me. Hold on. What's going on there? Can you guys see that? And he's like, I've just kept that a part of me ever since, that's what that teacher ingrained in me. It was just hit push-ups every day. And I said to him, oh, it's really good it's really encouraging to see someone of your age just being a hammer. He's down there and his sluggers hitting a heap of push-ups. Like, I don't know about you guys, that inspires the shit out of me, because I don't want to be, I've seen the other side. I've seen guys who lose the ability to engage in life in their elderly years, in the last third of their life. And that scares the shit out of me. As someone who has lost the ability in his body once and had to recover from it, that scares the shit out of me not having that again. And so I'm going to be doing everything in my power to keep active basically for as long as I can. So anyway, that's a bit of a rant for me. But yeah, fucking you're right.
Sorry, mate. It's a good lesson, and good on you for, when you see someone like that that inspires you, that's clearly elderly or old, and just ask him what his path has been, because everyone's got a different reason, everyone's got a different why, and there's just a typical simple lesson, that just something he's been disciplined to do every day for pretty much all his life.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. And asking, just being curious about people. It's so cool. And everyone's got a story to tell, everyone's got a lesson, everyone's got gold hidden in their mind. When you ask the questions and you give them the chance to reflect, they give you some cracking answers. He was a proper legend.
Better than going up to someone overweight and saying, "What's your secret?"
Well, you could do that. That could inspire some change. You might want to want to brace yourself for a bit of a reply there. But yeah, look, I say it all the time in my marketing. Like, there's a reason why, 90, what is it? The statistics, I think it's 73% of people are overweight, and then ridiculous, like 9 out of 10 people experience challenges in their mental health and don't really overcome it. It is brutal. The world we are living in, mediocrity is just rampant. And you guys know it. You see it in your workplaces. You see it in the cultures around you. You see it, you see it in yourself in periods of time. You see this resistance to being great. It's like, oh, fuck, it takes a lot of effort, or it's too much discipline, or it's too hard. Just taking that as a bit of a kick up the arse and going like, if I don't do this, then I become one of the statistics that I don't want to become. So yeah, I'm proud of all you guys for putting in the work. It's been awesome seeing the progress in the training, progress in the videos. And it just, lights me up every day seeing that chat. Some days I'm like, holy shit, we got 25 messages in here. Like, got to go through them all, and it's awesome. I love it. Love seeing the camaraderie and everyone's liking and seeing each other's growth, which is cool. So yeah, awesome, lads. Really, really good. Really, really quality. And great to revisit, because I have full faith in this model. Like you said, Simon, there's plenty more guys out there. There's plenty more men out there who are super focused on business and working and telling themselves they don't have time. You've got 15 minutes. You've got 30 minutes. You just got to realign the values and think about what you actually want, and then redirect a slither of your day into progress. So yes, very good. Now, just like I dropped the message yesterday, if any of you fellas could do me a little video testimonial, just chatting into the phone saying, hey, my name's Jordan. I'm a father of one. I'm a health coach. And, I joined LegacyDads because, I was lacking discipline, and I felt like I was really lacking energy and some purpose and motivation. And since joining the program, I've found discipline. I've found a new edge to myself. I found more confidence. My body's better. My mind's better. Just something like that gives a little bit of context into what we're doing inside the program. And it's been a lot in my marketing. It's been a lot of me training, and then I'm getting snippets of you guys training, but getting some faces behind the results as well, and for other guys to see and go like, oh, there's real potential here in what they're doing to achieve something in a more simple way. Then I'd be super appreciative of you guys dropping me a video. Don't worry about it being perfect. Honestly, if anything, if it's a little bit not perfect, the guys will know you're being real. So don't worry about being a fucking Thor, or what's his name? Chris Hemsworth. You don't have to be an actor. Just need just speak from the heart, and share some honest thoughts about your experience, and I'll be stoked with that. Awesome, man. Awesome. Great chat. You guys
Thanks,
get
Jordan.
value out of that.
Man. Keep at it. I'll
Awesome.
get you a video in the next couple of days, mate.
Too easy, mate. No massive rush for it, but yeah, in the next couple of days it'll be amazing. Awesome, fellas. Very good. I'll speak to you soon, and keep ripping in. You can unmute and say goodbye.
Catch you
Cheers,
later,
mate.
Jordan. Talk to
See you
you.
guys.
Cheers,
Have a good
fellas.
week.
See you next time, everyone.